How's it going, everyone? We got a lot of Stellar Blade updates to go over. It seems like someone at PlayStation made a little oopsie, leaked a trailer a little bit too early, and they leaked the upcoming release of Stellar Blade on PC. Its release date has seemingly been moved up a little bit. I believe the initial release date was scheduled for June the 30th, but now it has been moved up to June 11th. On top of that, it will be getting a bit of a re-release on PlayStation 5 by the looks of it, alongside the Stellar Blade Complete Edition, and it's going to include some new content, new costumes. There's a lot to go over, and there's a lot of stuff that is going to be included here, so it's not only just the PC release to be excited for. There's a lot of content coming to PlayStation 5 as well, and I do want to talk at the end of this video why I think this is such a big release, especially if you follow social media discourse and if you're a fan of data. The Steam charts has become one of the key talking points when it comes to data, and I'll talk about why I think this is going to be such a big deal as far as this release goes, and why I think it could be consequential. We'll talk that at the end of this video, but the PC version of Stellar Blade will launch via Steam on June the 11th. I believe it'll also be coming to the Epic Game Store. A complete edition featuring the base game and downloadable content will be available for both PlayStation 5 and PC on the same date. It remains to be seen whether or not this is a re-release. You know, these days with these physical game releases, I'm just led to believe they're not gonna do a physical release with it. I mean, you just saw what happened with Doom the Dark Ages, but a Stellar Blade Complete Edition release with all of the content on disc, I think would sell incredibly well, and literally, given how big of a fan there are of these games and how big of a fan people are of this game, I should say, I think there would literally be people that already own the game on PlayStation 5, maybe they bought it digitally, that would rebuy the game to have all the content on the disc and view it as a bit of a collector's item. And I think there would be a lot of money to be made, but that's my 2 cents on that. The PC version will feature AI upscaling and frame generation via NVIDIA DLSS 4, so that's the new DLSS, and AMD FSR 3. Unfortunately, no FSR 4 there. An unlocked frame rate, both Japanese and Chinese voiceovers, ultra-wide display support, DualSense controller support for haptic feedback and trigger effects, a new boss battle, so a new boss battle is going to be rolled in, 25 new costumes, and higher resolution environment textures. Though not yet confirmed due to it being a leak, the new boss battle and costumes will also probably be patched into the PlayStation 5 version. I would assume that's the case. There's no way they would release a version on PC that from a content standpoint outpaces the version on PlayStation 5. That just makes no sense. There are some PC versions that you could argue, hey, if you max the game out, they look better on PC versus PlayStation 5, but even with that, like, if you look at what the PS5 Pro is doing with games like Forbidden West on the PS5 Pro is like a premier version of that game. But from a content standpoint, there is usually parity. It's never the PC version is getting more content. Like, it's not like Days Gone came out with a Broken Roads DLC and that didn't come out on PlayStation 5 as Days Gone Remastered. You get the idea. I would imagine that all of this new content will be baked into the PlayStation 5 version as well. So the Complete Edition includes the following content: the base game, the pre-order bonuses as well. That includes the classic round glasses for Eve, ear armor earrings for Eve, planet diving suit for Eve, Complete Edition bonuses, Fluffy Bear, Drone Cosmetics, planet diving suit captain for Eve, the Twin expansion pack that includes the Nier Automata DLC that already came out and it was priced at $9.99, and the Goddess of Victory Nikke DLC, which is something that was coming out, and all of that will be available. You also get a Goddess of Victory Nikke CD key, outfit CD key to redeem the same limited Stellar Blade costumes in Goddess of Victory if you do end up playing that. So, this is going to be a bit of a re-release for the game. I imagine this bundle is going to be priced at $70. You know, if you already own the base game, chances are you're just going to buy the Nier Automata DLC if you didn't yet, and if you want to check that out. And the Goddess of Victory Nikke DLC, I imagine, will be $9.99 as well. I do think this is going to be a $70 release on PC. I know some people are going to be bummed out by that, but, at the very least, the game was going to be priced at $60 on PC. If past this prologue, Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, those games were delayed releases at $60. The thing about Stellar Blade is it's having a fairly quick turnaround with 15 months. That's a super quick turnaround, and it's including all of this DLC. On top of that, it's including new content and new DLC that's coming out for the game. I would honestly be fairly surprised if it wasn't $70, and I imagine this complete edition on PlayStation 5 is going to be $70, so from PlayStation's standpoint, you know, are they going to undercut what they're selling on their own storefront to sell it on Steam at a cheaper price point where they have to give a cut of it to Steam as well? I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's just going to be $70 on both PS5 and PC, but we'll see how that turns out. Maybe they'll drop the price point. Maybe the base game will go down to $40 and the complete edition will be $60 and then come out at $60 as well on PC. I've just seen what Sony does as far as price points are concerned, but hey, I was wrong about the Oblivion price point, but that was Bethesda, not PlayStation. I could totally be wrong on this, and PlayStation has yet to release a $70 game on PC. That just has not happened. At most, the games were $60. But again, I feel like this one is more of an interesting circumstance where you do have new DLC coming out for the game. You have the existing DLC. You have all of this new content baked into the game. And again, Shift Up, whoever's involved, I don't know who's making the decisions as far as how they've rolled out the updates for this game. What a masterful masterclass in how to keep a game relevant for... It's been well over a year at this point, and guess what? This is a new IP, single-player game, fairly new studio over here in the West, in that a lot of people weren't familiar with Shift Up, and they just have clowned so many other major publishers and developers that use existing IPs, utilize big marketing push, so on and so forth. And don't get me wrong, Sony backed this game and PlayStation backed this game, but it was Shift Up doing the consistent updates post-game, and Shift Up knowing who their target audience is, and then capitalizing on that. They just capitalized in so many different areas, and I feel like a game like Stellar Blade, a game like Black Myth Wukong, a game like Claire Obscure Expedition 33, over the course of the last year or so, these are the games to study, you guys. You see so many games coming out that have horrific marketing, horrific promotion, nobody cares about them. Study what the Black Myth Wukongs, the Stellar Blades, and the Expedition 33s of the world did, and what the Immortals of Aveums, the Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, those games didn't do. And by the way, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, Ubisoft published game on a legacy IP. Immortals of Aveum, a big budget game published by EA. That's why I bring those games up, and those games were completely flopped. Study those games, study the Stellar Blades, the Expedition 33s, and the Black Myth Wukongs of the world, and, you know, decide which route you want to go. And obviously, the games have to be good at the end of the day, but, you know, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown was a good game. I just would argue the promotion of that game was horrific. But yes, I think Shift Up has done an outstanding job, and they cannot be commended enough for the job that they've done with Stellar Blade. This is how you establish an IP, and we talked about it when it came to Sandfall and Expedition 33. They've established that IP, and Sandfall has established themselves as a studio. Shift Up did the exact same thing last year. Game Science did the exact same thing last year. A new studio, new IP, establishing yourself in a big way where their next game is going to be even bigger, and the momentum is going to continue rolling on with all of those aforementioned games. Black Myth Wukong is getting DLC. Expedition 33 is probably getting DLC and more updates. Shift Up is now dropping Stellar Blade Complete Edition with new DLC, maybe more DLC in the future, definitely going to be getting a sequel at some point, and it's going to be an IP that PlayStation can literally build around. Incredible as far as that's concerned in terms of kicking it off. Like, it happens before, don't get me wrong. I thought Asabo did a great job with Plague Tale in terms of establishing themselves as a major development studio with a new IP, but it's so often that we just see fumble after fumble, and then when you have situations like Stellar Blade, it just warms my heart a little bit. Now let me talk about why I think this is gonna be such a consequential game for social media discourse, and maybe some of you guys don't care about that. It is the lifeblood of engagement and everything like that, but the Steam database and Steam concurrent player counts has been a stat that so many people look at with a microscope, and this game is going to be compared to a lot of other games that recently came out. It absolutely is going to be compared to Last of Us Part 2, and I think this game will obliterate, and I reiterate, obliterate Last of Us Part 2 from a Steam concurrent player count standpoint, and I think that's relevant. Last of Us Part 2, major IP, $50 release. Season 2's airing at the same time, and that is certainly going to fuel the Last of Us Part 2 might not be that great of a game narrative. You know, I get a lot of you guys love it. I like it from a gameplay standpoint. I just beat the game again on PC. I get why people like that game, but nonetheless, the narrative is gonna be fueled, absolutely. I could totally see Stellar Blade beating a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows that peaked at 68,000 concurrent players or something like that. What does that say? A major release from a major IP, with a day one release on Steam, mind you, that a delayed release is beating that game? I don't know if Stellar Blade is definitely gonna beat that game. It definitely is gonna beat Last of Us Part 2. I'm totally confident on that. Assassin's Creed Shadows, that's more of an iffy one, but I could see it totally beating that. I could see Stellar Blade end up being the biggest PlayStation published title on PC that isn't Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 was an anomaly that peaked at over 400,000 concurrent players. It's not going to get anywhere close to that. The number it is trying to beat is like 77,000, and that was Ghost of Tsushima, and that is their highest concurrent player count. That 77,000 number, if they beat that, that would be gigantic. A new studio over here in the West. A new IP just coming in here and beating every other game. And Ghost of Tsushima, to be fair, new IP on that as well from Sucker Punch with a 4-year delayed release on 4-year delayed release on PC. But Stellar Blade beating that would be outstanding because Sucker Punch is still an established studio and well known, and one of the key Sony studios. Stellar Blade, new IP, new studio. The number here that it peaks at on Steam is going to be so interesting to study, and I'm telling you guys, the social media discourse on it is absolutely going to be there. I am just preparing you guys for that on June 11th and into the coming weeks, where you're going to see those comparisons on Stellar Blade versus A Last of Us Part 2, Stellar Blade versus an Assassin's Creed Shadows, and see where these games rank at, and I think that'll be an interesting barometer for a lot of publishers to study. And, you know, if any publisher is smart, they're going to study these numbers. These data sets, they can certainly be manipulated. They can certainly be looked at, and, you know, you can cherry pick certain data. It's all about how you comprehend data, but the data is available to you, and it's there to be comprehended. You just got to comprehend it the right way, and you can't be doing disingenuous comparison points. Like, I saw a lot of people comparing, like, Black Myth Wukong and games like that to, let's say, a Dragon Age Veilguard, and it's like, bro, Black Myth Wukong was a juggernaut release, huge in China. Like, taking that number and starting to compare it to other games, that's a disingenuous comparison point. Let's be frank here. But Stellar Blade being compared to Last of Us Part 2, Stellar Blade being compared to Assassin's Creed Shadows, I think those are fair comparison points, and I think it would say a lot if Stellar Blade beat a game like AC Shadows with on a delayed release, mind you, and it would say a lot if Stellar Blade beat a Spider-Man. I think it'll beat Spider-Man 2 as well, by the way. I think it'll beat Last of Us Part 2. I think the number that would be a home run success is that 77,000 number if it beats Ghost of Tsushima, but that's for the PC release, and the PC audience is a little bit different than the console audience. And let me just say, when this game drops on PC, the modding scene is going to be insane, and you can think what you want about the modding scene. The modding scene is going to accelerate this game's promotion on social media platforms, and that is free marketing, that is free advertising. It's not necessarily that people are going to buy Stellar Blade on the basis of the mods being available. It's the fact that these mods are going to circulate on social media that's going to put more eyes on Stellar Blade, that's going to lead to more people buying Stellar Blade, and ultimately make the game a bigger success, which you should want at the end of the day if you are a fan of this IP and you want to see more out of it. So that's my 2 cents on all of that. Hopefully more content for this game is to come, because I think there's a lot of money to be made in a more sizable single-player expansion, obviously a sequel. All of that, I would imagine, is going to come down the line. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Exciting stuff ahead for those of you that are big fans of the game. But thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.